Alright, so today we're viewing a scenario where Austria-Hungary gets reformed. Also, quick disclaimer, for this video to actually work, we are going to have to, make a few buffs. It's going to be a little unrealistic, but I will try my best. One last thing, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so if you could just please subscribe, you don't have to, but it would greatly help out the channel, and it'd be greatly appreciated. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, right here, we have Austria, and Austria is more of the nation that wanted the Union back in 1914, World War I, and before, when it actually was formed. But it's been a few years since then, actually a lot of years, maybe 100 years, and they are wanting their empire back. So a few diplomats from Austria and Vienna would go over to Budapest in Hungary, and they would begin talking with the government. I think you can see where this is going. Slowly but surely, a section inside of Hungary of people would begin to uprise. They would start thinking of reforming. Over here, they don't really want it, but slowly but surely, this idea would spread throughout the country until it got to Budapest, but then it would be put into place. Austria and Hungary are officially united once again. Now, with this new large amount of manpower, larger than their neighbors, they would continue to mobilize, getting better weapons, better ideas, and better strategies for their conquest. For their first attack, they would begin an invasion on Slovenia, and they would stand no chance. And in the peace treaty, as you probably thought, Austria and Hungary would fully annex Slovenia. Now, you might be thinking, who are they going to invade next? There is Czechia right here. There's Slovakia. There's Croatia, Serbia. Serbia is a little too strong right now. Not Romania. Not these countries over here. So, we're going to go for Czechia. Now, in this invasion, it would be pretty slow at first, as they had to, station a lot of troops over here to guard Vienna. But as they start to get closer and closer to, what's the capital, Bohemia or something, they'd slowly start to close in. They'd get pushed back over here, as that option was not very good. Slowly but surely, they'd finally lay siege on the capital, and they would destroy all of Czechia. Let's take a look at a peace treaty. Alright, so in this peace treaty, Germany would get all of the Sudetenland, as it is ethnically theirs. It'd pretty much be a gift from Austria-Hungary as a way to confirm their relationship, that they're not try to lower tensions if there was any. But otherwise, they'd annex the rest of Czechia, and then they'd turn their eyes towards Slovakia. But before they could, Slovakia and Croatia would make an alliance. This alliance would prevent too large of a defeat against them, and soon enough, Bosnia and Herzegovina would join this. This would be a huge threat against their power, but being Austria-Hungary, they'd start the invasion anyways. Over in the north of Croatia, some movements would be made. Meanwhile, over in Slovakia, some movements were made over here. But right here, they start to get pushed back by Austria-Hungary, and they'd get cut off. But this would not stop Slovakia. Slovakia would team up with the rebels inside of Czechia and start pushing them back. Meanwhile, over here, Serbia very much wants some lands from Bosnia and Herzegovina, as there's a lot of Slavs living in this part. So what Serbia would decide to do, even though they didn't have a good past history with Austria-Hungary, they would join in on the fighting. But they wouldn't join in on their alliance. Instead, Serbia would join in on the war by themselves as a solo attacker. You see, right here, Austria and Hungary, they don't want to be even associated with Serbia, but Serbia is using them as a distraction, saying that it's, hey guys, look world, it's fine that we're invading them because Austria-Hungary is doing it. So as this is happening, they just, you know, at this point, Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, they don't stand a chance. Quickly, Croatia falls over in the west. Bosnia-Herzegovina gets blasted by Serbia. They do hold a little right here, but at the end of the day, they're not able to hold it much longer. These are the final days of Slovakia. Slovakia is then pushed in from both sides, and they are forced to surrender. With that, let's take a look at a peace treaty. Alright, now this is the peace treaty. As you can see here, Austria-Hungary got a huge portion of Bosnia and Herzegovina along with all of Croatia. Meanwhile, Serbia got its dream lands of the Slavic areas of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Meanwhile, over here in Slovakia, due to Austria-Hungary being very new and them being kind of broke due to all this warfare, they would quickly sell off this portion of, well, Slovakia over to Poland. Even though they wanted it for their reformation of an empire, they did need money, so they'd sell it over to Poland, as I said previously. Alright, now let's see. Austria-Hungary really needs a good ally. They could go to Serbia. They help them in that war. No, they don't like them. Let's just hope nothing bad happens. That's not good. Yeah, you saw the map. A coalition in the Balkans formed against Austria-Hungary to stop their expansion into the rest of the Balkans, because they knew they would just divide and conquer the whole thing, and they needed to stop them now. The first country that would start to send troops in would be Serbia, as they already started to have borders stationed right here. They'd push in, but before they could get too deep, Austria-Hungarian forces would push them back. Now, over here, Austria-Hungary won in Transylvania anyway, so they've already had troops stationed over here because, you know, that was always their dream goal. So, surprisingly, they would push hard at Romania, and they'd start to surround and get, like, very close to Belgrade. Now, at this point, the Allies weren't expecting this large of a pushback from Austria-Hungary, but they knew their supplies would run out at some point. I mean, as long as nothing messes up Austria-Hungary in their push, they'll be fine, right? That's some bad luck you got there, Austria-Hungary. Bad luck. Well, as you can see right over here, Bulgaria and Albania are open. Bulgaria was, back in the day, in the Central Powers during World War I, so, you know what, they would genuinely accept in this. And Albania would also, as Austria-Hungary promised Albania, Kosovo, and Montenegro. Now, over here, both Bulgaria and Albania had the same targets, these smaller countries. Quickly, North Montenegro, or North Macedonia, would get collapsed by both of them. Now, we all know that Greece is a very strong country, so they're able to push hard, but you gotta think about it. Bulgaria and Greece are sort of evenly matched, plus these other countries and supplies from Austria-Hungary, they're gonna start to crumble. And that would happen now. They start to get pushed back over here. These ports that are very good would be taken, and the Battle of Thessaloniki, or I forgot the exact city name, would happen, and surprisingly, Bulgaria would win it. Now, at this point, the Allies were focused up here, so there was not that much people to save Greece. As you can see over here, something as bad is happening to Austria-Hungary. They'd start to really get pushed back hard by Romania. Finally, more and more troops would arrive to these areas. For the first time, Romanian troops would begin to run into Austria-Hungary. Over here, Austria-Hungary would get pushed back in Croatia, and they'd get pushed out of Serbia. Even in Greece, Greece would split back and take down North Macedonia, and they would fully take down Albania. At this point, a few Romanian troops would begin to arrive on the border of Bulgaria and start to push in. With both the combined strength of both these nations, it was known that Bulgaria couldn't last much longer. Over here, Austria-Hungary would start another offensive south. But they noticed that they needed some way, somehow, to show their strength to the rest of the Balkan nations. They needed a large military victory. In a very dumb move, the exact reason for it is unknown by other countries, but they would lay a huge invasion on Poland. You see, even though Lwów is down here, and Warsaw's pretty close, Poland didn't expect an invasion from them, as they just gave them this land. Why would they invade after giving them land? And that was sort of Austria-Hungary's plan. But this would heavily bring up the morale of the Austria-Hungarian people. Really strong. During this invasion, they continued to move up. But the thing is, did I forget to mention that NATO is not in this, so this could actually work? Which means no Germany invading, no Italy, no France, no Baltic countries, none of that. Yeah. Bulgaria would quickly get overtaken by all the surrounding forces, and they'd finally surrender. Over here, Austria-Hungary would push further and further upwards into this land. But luckily, Poland was finally able to react once more, and they would crush the Austro-Hungarians. They would start steamrolling through their land, and they'd only be able to hold on to this bridgehead. Over in Czechia, they would exploit the rebels, and both nations would be liberated. This would begin to see the end of Austria-Hungary. They'd get pushed back hard over here, pretty much kicked out of Croatia. They'd make a small, last-ditch offensive over to Poland. But finally, at a random night, thousands, millions of troops from the Allied forces would close in and take Vienna. From there, all of Austria-Hungary, the whole empire, would fall, just like they did in 1918. Anyways, thank you all. Now, let's take a look at a peace treaty. Now, let's see which countries would get what land. Greece, they would get all of this land. Okay. And resume. Now, let's see what countries would get what land. Greece would get all of this land from these countries. Romania would get this from Bulgaria. Serbia would get this from Bulgaria. Over here, Albania would be forced to union with Montenegro for economic issues. Serbia would get all of this land. Romania would get all of this land, doing a reverse Transylvania. Over here, Austria and Hungary would be split once again, and would be forced unto armistice and demilitarization. Over here, Czechia and Slovakia would sort of unite. Slovakia would have to give up this over here, and Czechia would have to give up this over here, as these were given, pre the war, and it's not really their fault, so they are able to keep it. Over here, Bulgaria is obviously shattered. Moldova is untouched, and yep, it's practically Romania, Serbia, and Greece that own the Balkans at this point. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. And as I said in the beginning, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers at the end of this year, so if you could please like and subscribe, anything is greatly appreciated. Tell me in the comments if you want to see more of these videos, or more like it, and I'm always listening for ideas, so if you have any suggestions in the comments, please tell me. Anyways, see y'all in the next one.